Hi there, I'm Mr. H, and I'm here to share with you part 5, which is really going to be the third chapter of 910, a September 11 story by Nora Raleigh Baskin. So, yeah, this is part 5 of the series. So, hopefully, you've been watching the first 4 parts so that this part will make sense to you. And so, this third chapter, it starts with these words at the top. So, once again, there isn't a chapter title like chapter 3. Instead, it starts at the very top with these words September 10th, 2001. 10:14 a.m. PDT. PDT stands for Pacific Daylight Time. Los Angeles, California. So, in case you can't find Los Angeles on a map, well, let's take a look at our map of the United States. So, already we've established a couple of things. One is I'm over here in Springfield. And then the very first chapter was here at an airport, O'Hare International Airport here in Chicago, Illinois. And then the last chapter that I read, chapter 2, was about Will and his family living in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. So right over here. And so now here's where we're going to see, here's Los Angeles. So California way over on the coast, south of Oregon, and Los Angeles would be right about there. All right, so let's get into the chapter. Amy had been too young to see the movie Clueless when it first came out in theaters, but she had seen it several times since then, and she owned the videotape. It was one of her favorites, but it never entered her mind that one day she'd be living in Los Angeles and going to a school that looked just like the one Cher Horowitz went to. But it did. It looked just like that school, right down to the sunshine and the sea of blonde hair. "Why do we have lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning?" a voice next to Amy was complaining. Amy turned to see who was talking. It was a girl about her age, which made sense since this was the 7th grade lunch period. But Amy wasn't hungry, and she hadn't felt like negotiating the line or trying to figure out how to buy lunch or where to sit or with whom. And apparently, no one else wanted to eat either, since it looked like everyone else was here in front of the middle school, spread out over the lawn and steps instead of in the cafeteria. The answer came because some grade has to get early lunch period. It's not that I want to eat their horrible lunch anyway, but this is ridiculous. Don't you have any sunscreen in your bag? The voices were coming from 2 girls who were sitting on the same stone wall Amy had found. It was under the shade of a large tree with droopy branches covered in beautiful purple flowers that gave off the most amazing scent, like real perfume. They definitely didn't have trees like this at Amy's school in Chicago, or girls like that. They looked like miniature grown-ups in perfect clothing with perfect haircuts, perfect skin. Amy looked down at the jeans, flouncy white blouse, and brand new sneakers that had seemed just fine just this morning, but suddenly looked ridiculous. She looked like a baby. Oh, geez, what had she been thinking? If her mother had been home, they would have laid out her outfit the night before. They might even have gone shopping for something special, but as it was, most of her stuff was still packed in boxes, and her mother's trip to New York hadn't been expected when they made plans to stay an extra week for the bat mitzvah. Amy had had to leave her school, her house, her room, and all her friends, including her best friend Lauren, who had sobbed and cried, and had made Amy a special memory book, which she held out in one hand, wiping her nose with the other. "I'm not moving to outer space," Amy had said, but she could feel a flood of tears behind her own eyes. And now, looking out at her school, at her new school, she wasn't sure she hadn't landed on the moon. "Who are you?" It was one of the girls sitting on the wall beside Amy, the one who wanted the sunscreen. "Me?" Amy pointed to herself. "No, the girl behind you." And Amy turned around before she realized the girl was making fun of her. Amy had told her mother, "I don't want to go to a new school. I'll never make friends." "No, just kidding," the girl added quickly. "Yes, you're new, aren't you? We heard we were getting a new girl in our class. I'm Vanessa. This is Bridget." The other girl leaned forward, smiled, and did a little wave thing. "Maybe your mother was right. Give it a chance." "I'm Amy," Amy said. Vanessa scooched closer along the wall, and Bridget followed like they were attached by an invisible rope. "Where are you from? Why weren't you here last week when school started? Did you just move here?" Vanessa asked in a rapid-fire succession. Amy didn't know which question to answer first. "I had a bat mitzvah to go to over the weekend, so we just thought it would be easier to fly here after that," she said. She waited a beat, trying to think, and then added, "From Chicago. I'm from Chicago." "Oh, cool," Vanessa went on. "Why did you move? Is your dad in the movie business?" "Everyone out here is in the movie business, or something related to the movie business. My dad is a screenwriter." "Is that why you moved?" She talked really fast. "My dad is a script advisor," Bridget said quietly. "Yeah, he works for Spyglass," Vanessa added. "So, what about your parents? Is that why you moved here? Isn't it so cool?" Amy hadn't thought it was so cool at all. She had begged her parents not to move, even going as far as leaving sticky notes all over the house in secret places that they would find over the course of days or weeks. The laundry room, the coffee cupboard, her dad's bike, her mom's box of hair color. But nothing worked. This was a big opportunity for her mom, a promotion. Her mom wasn't an actress or a director or a costume designer. She worked in finance for a company called Cantor Fitzgerald, and her dad was a math teacher, so he was interviewing at schools in the area. The idea was that this new job of her mom's would change their lives for the better. "It'll make things easier," she heard her mother say, "for all of us." "No," Amy told the girls, "we moved here for my mom, but she's not in the movie business. She's in banking." When she said that, Amy could see their faces drop. Banking was boring. Vanessa was glancing off to the left. Bridget was already studying her nail polish. The thick scent of the tree blossoms was beginning to border on nauseating. "But it's a really big job," Amy rushed on. "It's so important that my dad doesn't even have to have a job." That didn't come out right, but it was too late. Vanessa's expression went from boredom to pity. "Oh, I'm sorry. Your parents are getting divorced?" "I'm so sorry," Bridget piped up. "No, I didn't say that," Amy blurted out. Vanessa was shaking her head. "You didn't have to. That's the other thing about California. People move here just to get divorced." And lunch period was over.